All right, everybody, welcome to the post show. So we figured that we've done some post shows covering the WWE, some covering the UFC. Sometimes we like to cover other sports. This time we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals. So I'm going to throw it to my co-hosts here because they're a little bit more plugged in there than I am. So guys, take it away.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jason here and CJ,
Yo,
and
yo,
we'll be
yo.
taking over because Griffin apparently doesn't understand basketball. That's
Oh,
okay.
yeah, he
It
doesn't
happens
know a lick.
sometimes.
I
Lick about.
Yeah,
devote
at all.
like 10
A
hours a
little
day
bit.
to football. I just don't have time. Plus, my city of Baltimore doesn't have an NBA team right now, so and hasn't for a very long
You're also
time.
5'1", so that
I
doesn't help at
I
all.
am considerably taller
Um,
than that. Thank you.
so not considerably. So
Considerably.
anyway, so just a little background on the NBA chops here on the show. Both CJ and myself. I know that he lives in Maryland and I live in Arizona, but both of us are Phoenix Suns fans. Um, I was a big fan, obviously, when I moved here with the Army, and I love me some of my Suns, especially when they had Steve Nash. Miss you,
Hmm.
Steve. Please come back, even though
Don't,
you're old.
don't,
You can
don't
still
come
play.
back, Steve. You're too old. You won't
He is
benefit
too.
the squad.
His back will just break in half if he tries to
Yes.
play again. But and they're young and up and coming, and I'm very interested to see what happens with the draft this year. As you know, with their number 4 in the
Yeah.
draft this year.
Got
Are you excited
screwed out
about
of
that,
that.
DJ?
We should have been three.
Or 2, really? I mean, we
Maybe
had the
even two.
second
Yeah.
worst. We had the second worst thing in schedule. Excuse me, I can do it. Record, the second worst record of the NBA. But the way the NBA works, for those of you who don't know the NBA, they have a draft. Um,
Lottery.
I'm having problems talking. What is wrong with me today?
Draft
They have
lottery.
a draft lottery.
There we go.
So tanking your season doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be number 1 overall. That's maybe the one good thing about the draft lottery. But this kind of stuff happens to the Suns all the time. We haven't had a top 3 pick in, oh man, it's been like 20 years, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been that long.
Yeah,
Wow. I
it's been a
mean,
while.
we lucked out with Devin Booker a couple years ago, though.
Oh my
Devin Booker
gosh, yeah,
was there.
he's a beast. That guy is an absolute beast. He's going to be something special this year. So, yep. But anyway, let's move on to the NBA Finals, and we're talking about 2 teams that have met in the finals now 3 years in a row. That has never happened before. Um, we had the Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Golden State Warriors won their first meeting. Um, the Cavs won last year, and this year it's looking like the Warriors might just do it. They've won 3 straight. They blew out the Cavs in the first 2 games at Golden State, and now they're in Cleveland. And if you watched the game, you saw that it was a much closer game, but the Warriors still pulled it out, and they won by 5. What do you think about this game, CJ?
I thought it was a great game. When they're doing your predictions, I had people talking to people, and I had them, Warriors taking it in 5, and I actually had the Cavs winning that game on Wednesday night. But watching the game, it was playing out just like I said it was going to happen. LeBron and Kyrie, they put their stamp on the game. They were just lighting it up and on fire first 3 quarters. And then after that, even while that was going on, the Warriors were still there, still fighting with them, still consecutive. I mean, the big 3 in this, and for the Warriors, I mean, one of the big benefit, main factors, I mean to say, for this game in this series was Klay Thompson for me, because leading up
Oh
into
yeah.
the playoffs, he was kind of off, but his defense was still good. But for him as a scorer, he kind of disappeared when it comes to playoffs. So when we got to these finals, I was saying to myself, I'm saying we because I do like the Warriors. I am a Phoenix Suns
Mhm.
fan, but I do like the Warriors. I was like, they need Klay Thompson to get back on, and he did that. He wasn't there on the first game. Second game he played a lot better, and in this third game he showed out and he put his stamp on the game. So, with having him, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, play good. This Warriors team, and like LeBron says, this is the team that he has never faced before that has
Yep.
this much firepower. I mean, and this
Oh yeah. Who do you?
Cavs are.
I
I
mean,
don't see the Cavs winning this game and winning this series at all, just because the
no.
fact that their shot was a couple nights ago, Wednesday. I mean, they
Yep.
they had the game up. The highest they were up was 7, and after that, Warriors are still there Fourth quarter comes, they make some bad decisions. Warriors stay to the task, keep chopping at the lead, and then that stop that happens, and people controversy about it, saying LeBron should have took the shot instead of passing to Kyle Korver. But look, why did you bring Kyle Korver to the Cavs? Because he's a 3-point specialist and he makes those shots. He's kind of like the Mike Miller when LeBron was playing with Miami. That was his guy. That was his guy. He passed the ball out to him. Mike Miller knocked the shot down. Sometimes he misses, sometimes he makes it. But that's what it was. You know what I mean? And that was the smart play. But that was one of the stops the Warriors needed, and they capitalized on that.
And if Korver had made that shot, then LeBron, everyone, oh man, LeBron is so unselfish and he's such a great player. So that whole, that whole one half or the other, you got to make a call. When you're on the floor and things are moving. And LeBron James, not like LeBron is afraid to go to the basket. I mean, he has no fear whatsoever of anybody, and he will run over anybody to get to the basket. The only guy on that team that has the ability to stop LeBron when he drives is Andre Iguodala, who's done a very nice job on LeBron. And I say a very nice job as LeBron scoring 35 points a game.
Yeah.
But that just shows you the ability of LeBron James. But you mentioned Kyrie Irving, and I mentioned this off the air with you. I mean, he amazed me during that game. He hit these circus shots. He had absolutely no fear. It was him and LeBron just doing it all. I was very amazed by that. But again, you look at this Warriors team, and they are just so deep, and their bench is deep, and they don't have 2 superstars. They've got 3. And as you mentioned, they're big 3. But beyond those 3 superstars, you've still got a lot of very talented pieces that can do a lot of good things. And I think they're deeper than the Cleveland Cavs, and I think that's one of the main problems here. The other main problem I see is that the Cavaliers, they have not been able to dictate the tempo of any of these games. They got close this last game in Cleveland, but the first 2 games, they absolutely fell right into what Golden State likes to do. They like to get out in transition, run down the floor, and score on fast breaks and get lots of turnovers. And one of the things that bothers me, and I can't stand to see, and a lot of the commentators have been mentioning it, Cleveland doesn't get back on defense very quick. For a team that's as good as they are, they make a shot or they turn the ball over, and you'll see 2 or 3 of them, including LeBron James every now and then, trotting down the floor like not a care in the world. And then Kevin Durant will inbound the ball, and they'll get back to him. He'll sprint down the floor, and it's a 4-on-3 or a 5-on-2 situation, because the Cavs are just kind of moseying down the floor. And if you want to win against a team like the Warriors, you have to take advantage of every single moment and give them nothing.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, you see that team. I mean, you watching the series, you understand why they're trotting up and down the floor, man. Because these Warriors are running them. They're running them. They're
running them out of the building.
They're running them out of the building, man. That cardio is getting tested, and then when it comes to that fourth quarter, man, these guys are gassed. They just don't have the energy and the firepower. Another big thing to notice is when it comes to that Warriors bench and Cleveland's bench, Warriors bench has been outperforming Cleveland's bench the whole series.
Oh, yeah.
Whole series.
Yeah. And that's not even close.
It's not even close. And it's sad because you got a guy, Tristan Thompson, a guy that was a star in last year's series and was giving the Warriors headaches. They've totally neutralized him and took him out the game. Like he's a guy that's not even playing legit minutes anymore. I mean, he's taken out, he's sitting down just because the Warriors are just moving too fast for him, and he's getting out of position. You got Steph Curry when they do the screens and he gets switched on Steph Curry. Steph Curry's making him look foolish, and you got Durant too, so they can't utilize that play anymore. Kevin Love, he was playing good the other night, man, was very dominant in the third quarter, getting offensive rebounds and giving them second chance points. But his scoring is not like that. They need his scoring to go up, and the scoring is not it's so-so. It's inconsistent. So right now,
last game was awful too.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Horrible. Didn't make a free throw or didn't make a field goal until the second quarter, and it wasn't even a good one. It was pretty rough.
So you got LeBron and Kyrie doing hero ball, and that can only last for so long, and that's what we basically seeing I see. I thought it was going to go 5, but the only shot that I saw the Cavs winning was the other night, and they didn't do that. So I
Yeah.
think it's over, man. I think Friday we see Warriors, become NBA champions, and
You think
celebrate
you're gonna sweep them?
on their home court, man. I see that happening.
So what? Let's say that someone came to you and said, "Okay, CJ, what do you think that Cleveland needs to do, or is there anything they can do to stop the Cavs and actually win some games and get back into the series?"
Well, I mean, they need to stop stopping themselves. That's one thing they need to do. But stop. I know what you meant. You meant to stop the Warriors. Um, it's tough. I mean, because I'll listen to commentators and listen to people. After post game interviews and stuff like that, they'll say that they got to be more physical with it. And I've been seeing the physicality. Ever since the first game, I've been seeing it continue to go up when it comes to Cleveland. But the only thing that I keep seeing is a constant is something that they have yet to rectify, and it keeps happening is the turnovers and the bad
Yeah,
plays and the just not
yeah, for
smart
sure.
decisions. You got that going on. Then you got your role players as far as for Cleveland, and that's really big when it comes to Ahmad Shumpert, the J.R. Smiths, the Kyle Korvers, the Tristan Thompsons. Those guys right there. Those are
Jefferson.
legit players for the Cavs that have yet to step up in a big way. I mean, J.R. Smith, he had a good game the other day prior from the first 2 games. But and I kind of saw that happening because if you watch the pregame, they did a little like a documentary on him, and anytime they do a documentary on a player, just know that
Yeah,
player is most likely going to go off. So just
yeah,
just put that under your cap, going forward. So I see that, but they just need more. They need more out of those guys, and this game. This is going to be game 4 on Friday. I can see, them basically. I mean, this is do or die for them. They got to put
yeah.
everything out there. But so what I would say, if I'm a Cleveland fan, if I'm in the locker room, I'm saying first thing we got to do, got to get more physical, got to stop the turnovers, and we got to get our role players involved. They got to be involved, and they got to step up because if they don't, then Warriors are going to win this series on Friday. I mean, we
Oh
we
yeah.
just going to be just running up and down the court, and that's it. It's over.
So from my part, first off, stop trying to out 3-point the Warriors. It's not going to happen. They are the best 3-point shooting team probably in history. I believe they set a single game and a single
Hmm.
quarter record during these finals for 3-pointers. So stop trying to out three. It's not going to work. What I think they need to do, if it's me, I tell them, all right, slow the pace of these games down a lot.
How
It's
do you do
too
that
fast.
though? How do you do
The
that?
way you do that, is, well, like you said, stop the turnovers, because that's what kickstarts that Warrior offense. They get a turnover and they go down the court as quick as possible to score, and a lot like what the Suns are trying to get started again, is that transition offense. Also, like you said, like we talked about earlier, get back on defense. Get back on that solid defense. Don't give them an inch. Don't even give them an inch. I'd be pressing these guys, making them pass the ball down the court. Don't let them walk down the court with the ball, because they're not going to. They're going to run and they're going to shoot. And then the last thing I do, I make them beat me with someone other than Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Get the ball out of those two guys' hands. And Klay Thompson's great, but can he beat your team? Can he go off? Can he be their number one option? He can't. So you got to figure out a way to trap Curry, keep him from taking those threes. Let him drive. I'll let Steph Curry drive all day long. He can make those shots. He's fantastic.
Mhm.
But his big scary thing is when he shoots from outside. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant, again, is going to have to double team this guy, keep him out of the paint, let him shoot. Let him shoot from far, but do not let him into the paint. If I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers coach, that's what I'm telling them. Slow the pace down, get the ball out of those two playmakers' hands, make them beat us to somebody else.
Gotcha, man. Jason, I know we talked about this earlier, off the air before the show started, but
Mm-hmm.
let me ask you again, man. When it comes to Kevin Durant,
Mm.
and when it comes to KD, man, we know the decision that he made coming to the Warriors. Do you
Right.
question his decision to come to the Warriors? And if they win the championship on Friday, do you think less of him after him securing that ring? And does Hart come into the factor that he couldn't get it done with OKC? That's why he went to the Warriors. What are your thoughts about that?
Look, this is my take on this. Okay, if you are right now, he's considered the number 2 player in the world. Okay, and if you show up to the playoffs and show up and to the finals and play lights out basketball, and you go 1-on-1 against the best player on the planet, and you're able to do some stuff, you've got heart. You have to have heart. You can't play in the NBA and be as successful as this guy is without heart. As far as, the mercenary attitude of, well, he left his team and he took the big money, to go and possibly play for a ring and all that other stuff. Let me tell you something. This guy, as we've said, is one of the best players in the world right now. His legacy is going to be predicated on how well he plays. No one's gonna look back, after he retires and goes to the Hall of Fame or whatever happens. No one's gonna look back and go, you know what? He switched teams, so he's not as good as, say, Michael Jordan. I mean, he's not as good as Michael Jordan, but you get my point.
Yeah,
the point is how well he plays, how well he fits in with his team. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about someone with no heart? I'm looking for somebody who doesn't pass the ball, who doesn't fit into a team, who tries to win every single game by himself. That's not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a team player. He passes the ball just as well as he shoots it, and he's on a team that is an unselfish defensive basketball team, and that's why they're so good. As far as do I like the fact that he left the team? No, I'm an old school kind of a fan. I would rather he stay with his team and try to get his team, to the next level. But then you look at somebody like a Steve Nash, who stayed with the Phoenix Suns for a long time, stayed with the Mavs for a while, was never able to get himself a ring. And this guy is one of the greatest ever to play his position in Steve Nash, and he never won a ring. That's pretty awful. That's pretty horrible. So the fact that Kevin Durant left, yeah, it sucks because it's a part of the NBA, and the parity is not like it is in the NFL, in the NBA. The fact that we've had 2 of the same teams in the finals the past 3 years running shows you there's no parity in the NBA. There are a handful of teams that could make it to the finals, and there's only 2 teams at this point that actually had a chance of winning the finals, over the last 3 years. So it sucks, but I completely understand it. And no, I don't hold it against him at all. He's still one of the greatest in the world right now, and he has the ability to become probably top 10 greatest ever.
Yeah, I look at it kind of like you too, man. I mean, I'm not really disappointed that he went there. I mean, I think that's where we differ. I look at it like
now,
this.
if we were in his team, then
if we were in his team, if we were OKC, yeah, we would be,
that's so.
Get the torches, like the Chargers and the
Exactly.
San Diego and the Chargers, get the blowtorch,
right?
Let's burn the city down. But listen, so I'm like this, man. I'm like this with it. I'm like, look, this guy is a free agent. He did his obligation with his team. He put everything out there. He didn't have enough help. He didn't have enough help out there in OKC, man. And I kind of look at it like, man, like a modern day Shaq and Kobe position, man, with him and Westbrook, man. They played good together on the court, but they didn't coexist good. I mean, they might say, right, yeah, that's my brother, and that could have been good coming from Durant. I believe that when it comes from Durant, but when it comes to Westbrook is a different beast. That dude he's an in-season beast. I don't see them going to the next level when it comes to the playoffs, man, because it's a different animal. You're seeing what the Cavs are doing. You're seeing what happened to Westbrook when he fought against the Rockets. He was out there when he was on the floor. They were winning. And he was doing everything. But as soon as he sat down, that lead dwindled, and then the Rockets ended up winning that series. And that's the exact same thing we're seeing with Cleveland and these Warriors, man. So listen, I see him. He saw an opportunity when he was a free agent to go any place that he wanted to. He looks at this Warrior squad. You know, he sees the brotherhood there. He sees the camaraderie. He sees the potential of him not to be just be a focal point as a scorer, but him to be able to elevate his game as a defender, which is very underrated. People don't really see it, and he is showcasing those talents right now. And then his scoring ability, we already knew what that was about, and he is doing his thing there. So look, this guy's going to get his ring. Let's not act like we didn't see this before years prior when Boston did it. You know, when the big ticket KG and Ray Allen came down there and they won their championship when they beat LA. Let's not forget about LeBron when LeBron left Cleveland and he went to Miami and him and Bosh and Wade was doing that thing. Now listen, you know, people forget about the Boston Celtics, but look, I heard an interview when somebody was talking about after a post game. Basically the creator of the super team being LeBron James is now being victimized by the same thing that he basically created when he went down to Miami, and this is exactly what's happening. So I don't feel I have no shade when it comes to Kevin Durant and his decision to come to Golden State. He deserves a ring. He's one of those greats. You never want to be one of those greats and you never get a ring. That's hurtful for me when I look back and I see Charles Barkley, Dominique Wilkins, all these legends that never got a championship. That sucks. And you got like a guy like Luke Walton that's a coach for the LA Lakers. He has 3 or 4 rings. This dude got. You know what I mean? That's garbage. I went to college
with that guy.
That's garbage. That's garbage that man has that many championships. So, you know, I don't have no qualms, no beef with Kevin Durant when it comes to that, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got it. And look, this might be the thing. I mean, look, if this happens, let's not act like Carmelo Anthony has the option to be able to opt out. He might join Cleveland. You know what I mean? He might come up there, and then what we gonna say? Oh, here we go again.
The 2 superpowers just adding to our nuclear arsenals.
You know, so listen, I like it. I think it's good. I mean, I don't know. People question, say, is it good for basketball? I'm like, look, hey, listen, man, basketball is different. I'm a big fan of the Michael Jordan era when it comes to basketball. Right. Then it was super competitive. The games were lit. Right now, it's starting to get back up there. It's starting to slowly, but I still think this is a good era for basketball, and it's entertaining, and it's good to be a fan around this time.
You know, to wrap things up here, let me say this. You kind of hit on something, and that is that there was a lull in basketball for a little while, and there was like a handful of players that were good, and a handful of teams that were decent, and the games kind of got stale. It was hard to watch, and the reason was fundamentals. I mean, basic basketball fundamentals kind of went away because everybody was all about the highlight reel, and they wanted to see massive dunks, and all that kind of stuff. With me, and this is going to, of course, make people think that I'm older than I am, but
get off my lawn.
You shut your mouth. Who's talking to you? Get back to work. With me, I'm more about fundamental basketball. I want to see teams play good defense. I want to see teams that can pass. I mean, that's what made the Showtime Lakers so amazing to watch. They could pass the ball down the field. They had down the court. They had the best point guard in history in Magic Johnson running that offense. Amazing, absolutely amazing to watch. And they played solid defense. And that's the thing about, you talk about Michael Jordan. What makes Michael Jordan the greatest player of all time is the fact that he wasn't just a scorer. He didn't just score. This guy played both ends of the court, and he was a lockdown defender, and it didn't matter who he was defending.
He had that killer instinct too, man.
He had that killer instinct, and he played lights out on both ends of that court. And you lost a lot of that. You still kind of lose a little bit of that because you look at these great players that are in the NBA right now, and a lot of them, that's a scorer. He's not really good on defense. Well, I mean, you got to be good at both in this league. Those are the guys that are the unicorns right now, the guys that can play great on both ends of the court. So I think you're starting to see an influx of players that are good on both ends of the court. You're starting to see centers that are more like power forwards, and it's the same kind of thing we're seeing in the NFL with these running backs that are almost receivers. Same kind of deal. These guys are more athletic. They're faster.
Tight ends.
They can shoot from 3. I mean, look at Kevin Durant, 7-footer that can shoot a 3-pointer like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited to see kind of what happens now. I'd love to see a lot more parity, a lot more teams that can really challenge. And we're both Western Conference fans, and the Western Conference is definitely better than the Eastern Conference at this point. There's just more teams that are able to challenge.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, I think a team to watch out for in the East. I mean, and it's just if they get more talent there, I think the Bulls can, still be a good team. I like the Wolves. I like what they've been doing there. I think they got a nice young nucleus of talent that's there. I like the Pelicans this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Man. You got Cousins, you got Boogie and AB. AD. I'm sorry. I think that's going to be a good little team. They probably going to need to get some maybe another scorer. I think Drew Holiday is a good point guard, but they probably just need another scorer as far as like a 2 guard or maybe a strong forward to be able to compete. And then you got the machines like San Antonio. They got to rebuild. They got to restock. A lot of their guys are old. You got Tony Parker and then Ginobili. Those guys are like teetering towards the end of their career. And you got
that bald spot just keeps getting bigger, right?
Yeah,
Ginobili's bald spot just gets bigger every year.
Keeps opening up. It's gonna be sad real soon. So yeah, but I believe in Coach Pop. I think that he's one heck of a coach. He's gonna get those guys back and get some young players in there, and he's gonna make another star. Like we didn't know Kawhi Leonard a couple years ago. He made that. He made that.
Yep. And as much as I hate them, because I'm a Suns fan, I hate the Spurs, but I also respect the crap out of them. I mean, what they've done. Popovich is amazing, and what they've done has been absolutely amazing. They've played unselfish, principled basketball, and they've won titles. So, respect to them. Unfortunately,
respect.
We got to respect the Spurs. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. Unless there's something you want to add.
Besides Griffin sucks. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, that's given. You don't have to say that. We already know. Now you're going to get all the trolls complaining, CJ, that you're mean to Griffin.
Oh, they just
look. Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Scottie Pippen, Steph Curry.
You're just rattling off names now.
Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Amir Abdul-Jabbar.
He just typed on Google.
Amir? Did you just say Amir Abdul-Jabbar?
I sure did. Magic Johnson.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I know. Shut up.
Killing me.
Allen.
He just went on Google and said top famous NBA players. He just went and just running down a list.
Steve Nash.
Amir Abdul-Jabbar.
I mixed his name with a different person, but yeah.
Who's that guy? Mitchell Jordan. He's really good. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah. NBA players.
You are bad with names. What is it with you and names?
I don't know. So yeah, Tim Duncan. I don't know. Kobe Bryant. Larry Bird.
You're killing me. All right.
Why is this still a thing?
I don't know.
Could have been ended this.
My knowledge is endless. I don't know. All right, so let's get out of here. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.
Life in the fast lane. Moving at the life and I can't slow down. Only got a gallon in the gas tank.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You're still talking. Why?
I'm dumb.
Why is this still there?
The name came to my mind wrong. Shut up.
That was my favorite player when I was a kid, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
There you go.